Adam from Greer, South Carolina said, with Marvin Harrison Jr. now gone to the NFL, who are the best returning wide receivers in college football? Well, I'll stay at Ohio State. Emeka Egbuka, former five-star guy, does not have five-star stat lines thus far. Last year, for example, 41 catches for a little over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. But when you look at the pantheon of guys who have come through there, Harrison Jr., most recently, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Olave, Garrett Wilson, he should be the next one. It should be a year where he goes for over 1,000. And it should be Chip Kelly coming in there and making Emeka Egbuka a central part of his passing game. That should be the next guy up in Columbus, Ohio. Should be looking at him. I'm absolutely looking at Trey Harris down at Ole Miss. 54 for 985 and 8 touchdowns last year. Really good technician, really good route runner, really good hands, great talent around him. One of the most lethal receiver rooms in the country. Trey Harris is a part of. It's another year with Jackson Dart at quarterback. It's another year in Lane Kiffin's offense. I know the video game's coming back this fall, but if it wasn't, you would get something very similar by just watching Ole Miss's offense and what they do this year. I'll go to Oregon for a second because I got 2 names out there. Evan Stewart just transferred there from Texas A&M, and Tez Johnson's out there. Johnson had over 1,100, nearly 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns last year, had 172 in the bowl game. Evan Stewart, like many other offensive pieces at Texas A&M, underachieved relative to their ability level last year. So he gets plugged into an offense this year where if he underachieves, it's probably on him, because he'll be put in perfect position. He'll be surrounded by the right folks. He's got the right guy up there in Will Stein calling the plays. Got Dylan Gabriel, both of them do, transferring in at quarterback to throw it to him. That may be the best 1-2. I don't know. I'll open the floor for debate on that. Easily one of the best 1-2s at wide receiver in college football this year in Evan Stewart and Tez Johnson. What about Luther Burden? Second time he's gotten a mention on the show tonight. That's the player up there at Missouri, the player. That's what Bill Parcells used to call Terrell Owens, the player. 5'11", 208. Do you realize last year Luther Burden had 10 games where he had at least one 25-plus yard catch? That's getting it done. I believe Meemaw would call that a vertical threat. Believe it or not, Meemaw's term. 5-plus talent, 5-star talent, very easily. Also gets Brady Cook at wide receiver back again this year. And sky's the limit on him, man. They at Missouri are prioritizing keeping guys like that home, both in high school and then through the portal, or making sure they don't go in the portal. So that's a guy to watch this year. And also, I mentioned this guy earlier too, Tet McMillan. We are easily shortening his first name to Tet. Tet McMillan at Arizona had 90 catches, over 1,400 yards receiving last year. Just a monster in Arizona's offense, 6'5", 210. So he's also a literal monster, just physically. Keeps Noah Fafita. Those two both stayed at Arizona through the coaching transition. He's a huge target in every sense of the word in a very pass-happy offense. So he should have another huge year this year. And honestly, he doesn't even need to meet last year's numbers to have a huge year. Could have some Roma Dunze vibes to him this upcoming season. So Egbuka, Trey Harris, Evan Stewart, Tez Johnson, Luther Burden, Tet McMillan, those are some of the names I have my eye on.